All right, 25 again is just a matter of being able to type that in your calculator. So 6 5/7 plus 9 1/2 gives me 227/14, and then I change that to a mixed number, and I get 16 3/14. So that was A. 26, a buyer purchases 20% of the 12,000 widgets in a warehouse's inventory. So 20% of means to multiply 12,000. So 0.2 times 12,000, let's do that first, is 2,400. The next day, another buyer purchases 10% of the remaining widgets. These are the remaining ones. So I need 10%. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This is how many they bought. So if there are 12,000 widgets and they bought 2,400, I need to subtract that to see how many are left. So there's 9,600 left. Then somebody bought 10% of those, which is 960. So I take 9,600 minus 960, and that'll tell me what's left, which would be 8,640. All right, 27. Find the value of x cubed plus x squared minus 3x when x is -2. Make sure when you plug these in, you put parentheses around them, and then just type it in your calculator. And that gives you 2. All right, 28 is really just a matter of you can actually type this whole thing in the calculator. If you type it in just like you see it with the 4 minus 7, 5 minus 4, that should give you 8. 29, what's the greatest common factor? When we're looking at variables, first of all, they have to have the same variables. So anything that includes z is not a GCF because z is not included in both of these. Then you look for the smallest exponent. So the smallest exponent of my x's is x squared. The smallest exponent of my y's is y squared. All right, now 30 is a really tricky one. You could plug in numbers to see what's the same, but what they aren't telling you to do is that you have to factor this first. So if we want a GCF here, the GCF of x to the 16th and x to the 8th is x to the 8th. And when you factor it out, you'll have 8 x's left here and no x's left here. And then you can separate this into the square root of x to the 8th and the square root of x to the 8th plus 16. So if you have 8 x's, you can make 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. So you'll have x to the 4th on the outside and x to the 8th plus 16 left in. This is probably the hardest question to know what it's wanting you to do on the whole thing. So that one would have been B.